Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another phenomenal episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tranquil dart of Ringside Society, Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bass, and you are not. And in the second corner, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always moving, ready for battle, fresh off a trip from the rainy city, Seattle, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have a special guest tonight, a one of a kind guest. Because guess what? This man is not only our third Pakistani guest. He's no, as a matter of fact, and shout out to the Diamond Sheik and his brother, Scooby Doo. We got none but love for y'all. He is actually Chicago's only Pakistani-born professional wrestler. Everybody, welcome to the show, the Pakistani Rockstar Ahmad Khan.
Woo! Woo!
Ahmad, thank you very much for
Yeah.
taking time out of your busy schedule, to shoot the breeze with us about pro wrestling. Really appreciate that rock stars, they're normally busy, especially when they're on tour doing their thing. They got places to be, people to see, fans to actually perform for. So we really appreciate taking a brief break from that just to talk about your wrestling career and what it means to you and so on. So how you before we go any further, how you doing today otherwise?
I'm good. Thank you for asking, Remy. Rob, so awesome to meet you guys, by the way. And man, I could tell you right now, you're right. Rock stars don't sleep, folks. That's for sure. Man, we run on pure adrenaline. That's for sure. We do everything we can, and then we try to make it to the next town. Keyword: try to make it to the next town.
Yeah, every time I hear the word rock star, man, it reminds me of Rob. I know you know this song. Ahmad, you probably remember this song too. Um, the song by what's his name? Gucci Man. Um, Wasted. Rockstar lifestyle might don't make it. That's one of my favorite songs, man. I definitely enjoy it.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, that's a good one, Remy.
yeah, that song was me in my younger days. Like I say, like around like my early. I'm 39, but that was
Ah,
me 13 years ago. I was like that crazy 27, 26-year old, still in his party phase, you know, just wreaking havoc and so on. But enough about me, man.
yeah,
You're in Chicago, right?
yeah, absolutely. Yep.
I gotta say, first off, I'm probably gonna get my butt kicked, over here in New York. But I love that deep dish pizza y'all got. Although I know that it's not what native Chicagoans eat. That's more of a tourist thing. But I still love it anyways. And the city looks pretty. Every time I go to Chicago, it reminds me so much of a like another New York, like a
Oh
sister version
yeah.
of New York. You know. So I always
Oh,
have a good time. I always get a nice vibe going there.
yeah, man. It's Chicago's just gives you that vibe completely. I mean, New York is the number one city in the world. Then you got LA, and then you got the third, which comes Chicago. Now, as I say it, and I'll say it again, every time I go to this down to the city, it's a different vibe, man. It just hits different, man.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, man. So, you know, um, in regards to wrestling, how did your love for wrestling start? What was the match or the main event that you saw, or the pay-per-view that you saw that made you hooked, that got you hooked?
Man, I mean, if you got to say the top of the top of the top of my list, it has to be RVD versus John Cena, One Night Stand 2006.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Man, that that night tested John Cena's metal. because the fans were not on his side at all. Like they threw his shirt back at him like twice, like two
Oh yeah,
times, three times. They were booing him out of that building, and he was still able to maintain his composure. He lost that match, but he was still able to maintain his composure, and that says a lot about him. It says a real lot.
absolutely. The key thing in it is I like to explain to even the younger wrestlers out there that want to be there. It's the psychology part of the match that you guys seem to see. Like you guys see, as you stated, Remy, the crowd did not love Cena that night. This is an ECW faithful crowd that was screaming RVD's name throughout the whole night and literally wanted the RVD revolution to take over that night. And we did get that, with of course a little help from Edge, but we look past that. But the fact is, of course, RVD winning the big one really shocked the world that night, including myself when I saw that. I mean, I didn't honestly. I had to see it on WWE.com at the time because if we're being honest, pay per view was expensive back then.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah,
they definitely were. That was definitely a great match to start out, and I would never forget. That was the same one I think where Edge pinned Beulah McGillicuddy in that very provocative way. Guy Edge, I tell you, is something else.
oh yeah,
So now that you're
oh yeah. Very just yeah, been from the radar. Yeah.
tuning in, and you're booing the bad guys, you're cheering on your favorites and whatnot. How did your journey go from Ahmad Khan, pro wrestling fan, to now Ahmad Khan, Chicago's only Pakistani-born pro wrestler? How did that journey go for you?
Well, I mean, it starts off with me going to a WWE SmackDown event in 2016. It was a Christmas special for Monday Night Raw and Friday nights and for SmackDown as well. And it was back then it was SmackDown Live. It was Tuesday night SmackDown at the time. So I met this one girl that told me that where she trained, and she told me she trained on weekends. She told me where it was, and I looked it up and I called up the guy. He told me come on Saturday and come on Wednesday, like Monday, Wednesday, or Saturday, and go from there. And I went. It was like probably close to New Year's Eve then in 2016, and I stepped through those ropes and I ran the ropes, and I look back at that video almost 7 years ago, and I wonder, man, was it that? It's been that long, and quite honestly, it doesn't seem real that I was running the ropes in my freaking Asics, tan pants, and a freaking polo, and I still got in there and did it. And it's just sky's the limit at this point now. I mean, fast forward now 7 years, it's just still doesn't feel real.
Yeah, but you made it happen. You're doing your thing, and you've worked for places like freelance. I think it's called freelance wrestling or Chicago freelance. You're doing big things, and yeah, man, you're definitely making it work for yourself. So
Well, yeah, I mean, freelance shows, I've been in contact with them, and I've been trying to get on their shows actually. So other shows like Chicago style wrestling with superstar Steve Boz being the owner, it's great. It's great out there, and many other awesome promotions as well. Around in Indiana as well. So it's great.
yeah, and hopefully, have you gotten a chance to wrestle anywhere else besides like Seattle? Like, um, I mean, not Seattle. Have you ever gotten to wrestle anywhere else? Like maybe like the West Coast, Seattle, where I was at, the Pacific Northwest, or even like Texas or the
Well,
East Coast or anything?
actually, I was actually near your neck of the woods, Remy, in near the East Coast. Have you heard of SWF Superstar Wrestling Federation out in New Jersey?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot the promoter. I forgot
Rob Fury.
Rob Fury. Yeah, Yeah, I heard
Yep.
of them.
Yeah,
Wow.
no doubt. Yeah, it was my first time there. I originally went there as a visit for my brother, just to hang out with him, but it just turned into where I messaged Rob like weeks ago before the show, and it just hit me that if I showed him that message right when I got there, he would put me in a match, and let you be, he put me in a match, and it was a triple threat match. Winner would get a title shot at the world title, and yeah, I mean, was I going to really win that match? Maybe not, but I did have a great showing. I mean, those guys were very welcoming. Midway through, I was told that my match would be changed from a fatal five-way match, tri-state championship match, to a number one contenders world title match that would be probably the second match on the card.
Wow, that's cool, man. And so what was was there any difference wrestling in New Jersey as opposed to the Midwest, or was it like pretty much the same for you, like crowd
I mean,
wise?
the crowd was definitely with it, man. I mean, it was in a literally like a parking lot with of a what's it called? A motor inn. So it was like literally a small little hotel, and it was motel, and it was like it was the crowd was great that night. I mean, to say the least, they were rock to the rock, rocking and rolling all night long, man. Those guys, I mean, for the fact is that the show had great stuff going throughout the whole night, especially the Boogeyman, and then if you're familiar with the Grin's Toy Show being the main event, yeah, that tells you a lot right there about SWF.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's very cool. So now, in regards to, you're the only Pakistani-born wrestler in, Chicago. Do you feel any pressure, or are you like you're cool? You're pretty much, just breezing? Because I mean, if me, I'm the only like Guyanese podcaster to my knowledge. We're one of two. The other one is a young lady by the name of TK Trinidad, who is actually half Guyanese, half Trinidadian. And I feel like, yes, I got a great thing going here, but I gotta keep it going because I never know who's watching me. Do you ever get that feeling like there's pressure on you, or are you like, you know what, I'm the only, I'm good, you know, or is it a mixture of both?
I mean, a lot of the times I don't look. I always know I'm a guy that's willing to rise to the occasion every time. So I mean, of course, we all know who the other guy is. That is the other Chicago native who happens to be Pakistani descent. But
Yeah,
I put specifically on my bio that I am the only Pakistani-born wrestler in Chicago, and it's keyword born. I was actually born there. It is legit. It's on my birth certificate. There is no lie. I am born in Karachi, Pakistan, folks. That is the biggest city in the country of Pakistan. It's not the capital, but it is the biggest city by far. It is the biggest city geographically speaking and statistically speaking. It is the biggest populated city in the the country of the Republic of Pakistan, Islamic Republic of Pakistan. That's what it's the professional term if you want to keep it like that.
that's awesome. I know Bollywood is not, to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not affiliated with Pakistan, but I gotta say, I know you guys have probably seen it. I love those movies. Shah Shah
Oh
Rukh
yeah.
Khan, my
Oh,
favorite.
SRK, he's the biggest rock star out there. Come on
That's
now. How do you think I got the hair looking good today?
amazing.
Come on. Come
When I
on
saw
now.
when I saw Kuch Kuch Hota Hai, I thought he was the best actor. You couldn't tell me nothing. That was my boy. Him and
Um,
Solomon Khan. That's the other guy.
oh,
You know,
Salman Khan. Oh wow. Yeah. He's amazing himself too. You see that body? He's like he's like Superman, man.
he used to encourage.
Superman.
He inspired me to work out back when I was a teenager. That guy was just amazing.
Oh wow.
But yeah. So I just got two more questions because I know Rob, he has a couple of questions of his own as well too. So, you know, Okay, you're the Pakistani rock star. That's awesome. Ain't nothing like being a rock star. You travel the world and whatnot. And there have been many rock stars that have been around as well too. You have, Mick Jagger had Keith Richards, uh, Mick Jagger from the Rolling Stones and from the Rolling Stones had his bandmate Keith Richards. Um, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith had Joe Kramer, who was the drummer for Aerosmith, and
Hmm.
I can't think of another. I had another duo at the top. Let's go with Gene Simmons. Gene Simmons had Paul Stanley, and of course, probably the biggest rock band, the Beatles. You know, Paul McCartney has Ringo Starr.
Absolutely.
You were going, obviously, you want to win some titles, but if you were going after some tag team titles, who would your tag team partner be?
Man, that's a very hard question to answer because I have so many friends that in the business as well that I'd love to be a tag team with them and it'd be a pleasure to share it in a big, grander scale or in any independent company out there that's willing to see the work we all put in as a tag team and just it's like but if you were to say one particular man that I'd like to tag with, and specifically, uh, man, like, would you like fantasy? Would you like to say fantasy level wise, or people that I actually know?
Like people that you actually know. I'll tell you what I'll do for you. You could list like five. If you could list five, that'd be cool.
Okay, five. Okay, who? That's a tough one. I spent 3 months with Super Crazy when he was here in Chicago. I took him to a seminar in Indianapolis, and if anything, he was on every show at the Berwyn Eagles, the famous Berwyn Eagles Club. If any of you come to an independent show in Chicago, which I'll invite both of you, if you guys come to a show there, that is the top of the top venues in Chicago when it comes to independent wrestling in Chicago. It's called the Berwyn Eagles Club or on Google, if you look it up, it's Fraternal Order of Eagles.
I've
And
heard about
I,
this.
yeah, I could tell you the countless names that have been performed in that building alone, which calls to current NXT superstars, to Ring of Honor legends, to WWE Hall of Famers. The sky's the limit for that venue alone. That is my key moment in my pro wrestling career. If I'm willing to, if I happen to win a championship in that building in that venue, I literally would know it would be like the top of my greatest accomplishments. But winning a championship this year has been my goal. If you look on a lot of my social medias, I put out there that the body's been worked on. I've been doing it 4 or 5 days in the gym, grinding, doing my thing. But then it comes down to the nitty gritty. It's winning a championship to establish that main portion to every promoter out there that I can deliver. Key thing is there's a lot of you asked me earlier, Remy, what's the pressure? You, I feel it right here on my shoulder. It's a chip on my shoulder every time that I felt that I haven't been able to give as much as I did in my 7 year career. Now, I have to wonder to yourselves that training wise, I've been doing everything great in matches I've had. There's a couple of few things that need to be worked on, but every I'm my work. I'm. It's like Batista said it best. No one's going to be more critical than me of me than me. But he would say that to himself. But you could clearly know why he said that, though, right? Because he wanted to make sure that people understood that he was going to be only worried about his own criticals and critiques, or the fact that he worried about people that actually mattered about who critiqued him. So a lot of the times it's you have to look at it that way, especially in any like field of work that you do, especially with podcasting or anything and you do in life. It's just plain simple. You need to know which part of people that if their opinions actually have any volatility to them or any valid reasons for it to be true.
Awesome. So my last question, before I turn it over to Rob, um, 5 years, I mean 7 years. It is that to me, yes, it may be short, but that's a lot of time to put in pro wrestling. Um, and we appreciate that, and that it's got to say, if nobody's thanked you before, um, I guess you're gonna hear it for the first time from us here at Ringside Society. They thanked you before. Well, I guess you're gonna hear it again from us here, but thank you for those 7 years that you put in. I know it wasn't easy, but we really truly appreciate you risking your not just your physical health, but your mental health to go into that ring and put on a show for us. Um, if a young man or a young lady came up and said, "Hey, I want to do what you're doing," you know, and have as long a career as you do, what advice would you give that young man or that young woman?
Absolutely, Remy.
That
I
that
would.
that beginner, because let's be honest, we've had people that are like 40 something on our. I don't mean to put anybody business out on the street, but we've had people that are, let's just say, well advanced in age that have decided to step into the ring and start their professional wrestling career. So, what advice would you give that person that's now starting out?
Any age is just a factor. You're stepping those ropes. You have all my respect in the world to give this business a shot because you only get one chance in life, one chance to try something that you wanted to do your whole life, but it's a matter of where you're putting in the effort. There's a man in training right now who's 47 years old and he's getting in there to take those bumps, take the time to get in there. He's in great shape, and I'll tell you right now, he was willing to give all his blood, sweat, and tears into this. If he can do it, anyone can. Whether he might have only a couple years left based on what he has, but I know for a fact that he will give it his all. I know that for sure. You know
Awesome.
how old you know how old DDP was, right? When he started? Exactly.
5, 36.
35 years old. You right. 35.
Yeah, and the man became a legend. That was cool. Yeah. So for those of y'all that are now starting out, regardless of what age you are, you just got some advice from, a man who's been doing it for 7 years and doing it well in professional wrestling. So y'all just got a little something, something from him. Anything else, you probably have to, hit him up on his Cash App or DM him or something, you know, because a rock star's time is also money. So, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. I know Rob has a couple questions for you. So, Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, man? How's everything going today, man? How was your day?
I'm, it's great, Rob. Thank you.
Oh yeah, man. So did you have a busy day today, man? Nice relaxing day. Was it chill or you had stuff going on, man?
Well, I mean, it was a little bit of both. I mean, I am currently in school, so I didn't tell Remy this,
Mm.
but it's quite the tale when I get to inspire my students as well. So I intend to be a school teacher actually. So
Ooh.
that's great, you know.
Yeah, my school teachers are all right. Yeah, my grandmother was a school teacher, and yeah, my dad made it very clear, hey, you never disrespect the school teachers or whatever, man. Anything goes wrong, let me know. You don't do anything, you know what I mean? Yes, all right, cool. Yeah, man, I always love school teachers. Yeah, I always hear the stories, like, cause my grandmother, she used to teach at the same school as my dad would, but he never had her, like, in class. But I remember he would say, one year, like his classroom was like right here through the windows was, and over there on the next wing was her class. And whenever she would yell at her class, doors, windows were over, she'd be like, hey, da, da, da. Everybody in the class would stop, turn, look at my dad and stuff. He'd just be like, man, oh man. So yeah, like you were talking about just a second ago, the older guy, up in training, 47 years old, man. I did the same thing as you, man. Like I started refing at 39. I'm 41 now. I'm the old man in training. Like the only one older than me is the trainer, Mark Harrow. I mean, he's like 43, 44, or whatever. So yeah, I'm out there. I know exactly what you say. Hey, you got one shot. I mean, just, yeah, you might as well take it. So that's why I was like, "Shh, you might as well try it out. Either I can do it or it didn't work out. But hey, glad it worked out. One of them things. Now, not only that, I also learned, doing a little research that you did a little reffing, speaking of that, before you started wrestling, So how did that come about, and then how did reffing prepare you, to go into matches, dealing with the crowd and all that stuff, if it did?
Well, that's a great question, Rob. So, based on a lot of the stuff I did, I needed to. Well, first things first. We know as pro wrestlers when we go under training, we have to always be very versatile people. We have to be multitaskers. We could be roughing one night. We could be roughing and competing the same night, just like I had before. And I could tell you, it's just the fact that I was just very keen to being a pretty decent multitasker. So in a way, I felt that refereeing in a way, watching referees from WWE, Impact, New Japan, all those guys, I'd watch their movements, where they'd be, how they'd stay in position in the corner, or the fact that some of the refs that like to stay in the action like I do, they follow the same movements as the guys to see as they're doing. Like, the whole lockup routine where they're like, doing this little circle around the ring and stuff like
Mhm.
that. I have to follow the guys sometimes, or if it gets to where sometimes I just need to stay in the corner for a little bit, it just goes from there.
That's right. That's right. Now we were chatting a little bit before the show and all, and you were saying you had a little funny ref story about, that happened to you or whatever, man. Is it all right to share that? I mean, tell us about what happened there.
All right, so it was a the World of Wrestling Team was the name of the promotion. It's called Wow Chi. It was a lucha show. So this particular lucha show, the 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 champion at the time went by the name of Bandolero. Bandolero was the world champion of a Wow Chi World Heavyweight Champion, and he was going against the guy Dragon from Texas, and it was the main event. So, of course, they trusted me to be the ref because they knew I had the experience factor doing it. And, of course, they knew I was the man for the job. I was a wrestler as well. So they knew I could take the bump in the match that was going to happen. So the bump was supposed to happen where I was supposed to take a drop kick from Bandolero, the champion. But I was an idiot, and then I didn't get in front of him to take it. And he did it once, then he drop kicked again to the air, and then he got pissed at me. So what he did was he kicked me right there, boom, boom, outside the ring, and then you see me actually clutching at my ribs because he actually got pissed at me because he actually
Mm.
hit me pretty. He actually roughed me up a little bit. So
Oh man.
yeah, man.
Yeah, that's terrible. Yeah, I took a bump at a show and all before, and yeah, I was done. I mean, I was knocked out. I mean, after the show, I needed a CAT scan because I was like, I was out for a couple minutes, and then after the show, I had all the fans were asking, the promoter and stuff, is Rob okay? Is he all right? They were emailing me like I got messages and stuff like, are you? I'm like, yeah, thank you, I'm fine. One even was like, I see that you live near me or whatever. If you need anything at all, let me know. I know. I'm like. All right, thank you. you know, y'all are awesome, man.
Oh yeah, man.
So and also doing a little research. You also rep this stuff. You also got to work with Carlito and Savio Vega. Now, I love Carlito. When I watch him grow, man. He spits in the face of those who don't want to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and then Savio, I love Savio, man. So, what was it like working with those guys, man? It had to be pretty cool.
Well, yeah, no pun intended, Rob. Carlito is cool, to say the least.
That's right.
Oh yeah, Carlito's a great guy, but all seriousness, he's a great guy. I mean, honestly, he just knows how to really show like great stuff. He's very professional. He knows he always comes in on time. He always does his thing. Takes care of the fans. The fans come to see him. He's always willing to do it. And yeah, man. I mean, the picture I had with him, you know, key word. If you want a picture with Carlito, he's gonna charge you for it. So be aware of
Yeah.
that, folks. He's gonna charge you for it, even if you're taking it off your own personal cell phone too.
That's right. That's right. Hey man, you gotta get the money somehow, man. You gotta pay the bills, man. Hey, I ain't hating. I ain't hating on them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
but
gotta.
yeah,
Oh no, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah. But to answer your question about Savio Vega, though, Savio Vega and Alberto Del Rio, I can tell you, that was great because that was the main event of the War of Nations. Uh,
Mm.
War of Nations was a show on July 24th, 2021. Was the main event of that show. I was an Iron referee that night. I was the whole night. I was the referee.
Woo, woo. I know them
Nine,
nights.
not, not nine matches, brother.
Woo,
Nine matches.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oof.
that's one of the matches, man. You're like, how you stand in the corner, get your bottle of water over there by the timekeeper, everyone, yeah, and holding your, all right, man, this is out, man. You got another one, let's roll. That is awesome. So I got to, I do want to ask, when is your next match? Do you have anything coming up? Are you booked the rest of this month? And, are you good for March and April and stuff?
Well, the next show that I have is on March 12th. It's a Sunday. I'll be Brave Championship Wrestling out in Crown Point, Indiana.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Over
Oh
there in
yeah, man.
Indiana. Yeah, I haven't been out to Indiana, what I mean? Hopefully, I'm trying to, be like Samuel L. Jackson at the end of Pulp Fiction, roam the earth, I'm trying to get everywhere, what I mean? So, yeah, Indiana, hopefully I can get out there, what I mean? That'd be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, man.
So I do gotta ask, before I pass it back to Grim, I always ask this, because see, I'm in that age, where I start watching TV shows and I just watch comfort shows, what I mean? I'm always looking for something new to watch, It's like, I'm always, on Hulu, Netflix, wherever. I always end up watching the same stuff over and over again. But I always ask, is there something, any new movies, TV shows, you're into right now, something, you just seen, like, oh man, that was pretty good, or something like that.
I mean, honestly, I've been such an addict to Peacock, man. Because with
Mm,
Peacock, like literally, like freaking like the Rock's like show, man. That's awesome. The Rock Show is amazing there. Every time that there's an episode there dropped on there, click right there.
that's
I'm
right.
going. And then, if you guys haven't seen Chicago Med, Fire, and PD, the Chicago franchise, one Chicago series, hop on that, guys. That is those. It's amazing. The story itself, the actors, the stories that it tells, it's fire, fire.
Yeah, I've actually seen. I can't remember. I think it was some of them. I haven't seen them like straightforward, or whatever. But I've caught episodes here and there, and every episode I've seen has been pretty good. Whatever. Fire. Man, whatever. I'm like, yeah, this show's pretty good. I like Chicago. You throw Chicago in the title, yeah, yeah, you got a good show.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Chicago Med, Fire, and
Mhm.
PD. That's like the three. That's the what you call categorize as the one Chicago series.
That's right. That's right. Now, see, yeah, I've looked at it. I'm like, man, I want to start it, but I feel like I'll be overwhelmed because I don't know what I should start first. You know what I mean? Should I go fire, PD, med first, or or does it matter? Should I, just hey, just pick one and go?
I mean, honestly, I start with Med because it's my favorite,
Mm,
and then I go to Fire, then PD. That's like the order it comes in on live television as well, so
okay.
that helps. I've always been such an order and chronological type of guy. I never like to. Sometimes if I feel like one of the shows are going to be so boring, those episodes, but that's
Mhm.
far from the truth. They all go coincide with each other, especially when they have crossovers. That's amazing. You know why it's so
Okay.
fun to have crossovers? Because crossovers are the best time to make that popcorn, make that your favorite foods that day.
Hmm. That's
Oh
right.
yeah, oh
Yeah, I
yeah,
like
man.
Peacock also. It's got one of my favorite shows on there, Psych. You know what I mean? I love watching Psych and stuff, man. Psych's a good
Oh
show.
yeah, oh
And
yeah,
then I
man.
also watch Murder She Wrote because, my mom and dad grew up watching that and all, and I swear I was like, no, there's no way she solves these murders. She's the serial killer. So I watch every episode trying to pick out, that's where she set the person up. She was framing that person right there. That's what she did. You know what I mean? I don't trust that Jessica Fletcher. You know what I mean? 'Cause that place had a murder rate higher than New York. You know what I mean? Yeah, just wherever she went to town at, somebody was off. Somebody was off. It was like now before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on and chat with us. Man, I had a blast chatting with you. I wish you nothing but the best, in your future goals, teaching, I hope you, do all your goals, wrestling. I hope you get your singles gold or any kind of gold this year, so you can just be champion, and all that good stuff, man. I wish nothing but the positive things to you, your family, and all good stuff, man.
Absolutely, Rob. I mean, I wish you, God bless you both. I mean, amazing stuff, man. It's gonna be great, man. Trust me, man. I can't wait for the rest of this year, and we just got in the month number two of
Hmm.
2023, going into March. It's going that quick, brother. That quick.
Hmm.
If I'm ever out nearby you guys, I will definitely hit you all up. I promise.
Yeah, man. Hey, hopefully, you'll be doing a show, man. If you come to Delaware once CW, man, maybe I'll reference match, man. Ref one of your matches.
You never know, Rob. You never know. But that's what this is for, man.
Yeah, definitely. Ahmad, I just gotta say, it was an honor to speak to, Chicago's only Pakistani-born pro wrestler. Thank you for, giving us this opportunity. We are very, very grateful for it. We really and truly appreciate it. And best believe that when we see you in AEW or WB or Impact or heck, even traveling to Japan and doing your thing, or even if it's like Europe, we'll definitely be cheering you. And then we'll be like, yo, we just had that guy on the show, man. We had the Pakistani Rockstar on our show. Now he's all over the world doing his world tour, doing his thing, and letting people, experience his greatness, man. We'll definitely be cheering you on. And we've actually had people that have actually gone on to do great things. Like I said, one guy, the Diamond Sheik, he's also Pakistani. He's actually down in Georgia. He's probably watching right now. Diamond Cheek, if you're watching, shout out to you as well. But he actually he started off as on our 15 minutes of fandom segment, and then he said, "Hey Remy, I'm gonna become a wrestler. I'm gonna train with Cody Rhodes at the Nightmare Factory." And then lo and behold, he does it and he graduates. Next thing you know, he's appearing. He made a couple appearances on AEW Dark, and now he actually owns his own promotion down in Georgia called District Championship Wrestling. It's a great promotion, and it's doing pretty well. And a lot of well-known people, famous people have actually been on that show. So yeah, man, who knows? Maybe we'll actually see you down there. Pakistani link up, unite. Um, but
Oh
yeah, man.
yeah.
Before we wrap the show up, where can fans find you on social media? Um, when they want to find out when next appearances, purchase, Ahmad Khan, the Pakistani rocker merchandise. Where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
Absolutely. So, my Instagram is at realahmad.khan. So real AHMAD dot KHN. That's my Instagram. Same. I'd say my TikTok. That's like I trust me. You'll all be really entertained by what I do on TikTok because I love
Okay.
entertaining. Clearly, we're in a world of entertainment, so it's fun. Trust me. So it's real Ahmad dot con, I believe, as well, or our underscore. But you'll find it. It'll be real Ahmad, then con will be separated from there. So you'll find it there. And Twitter, the same thing. And Facebook, I'll make a fan page. I'm getting to start too. I will. So you'll find it.
Awesome, awesome. So y'all definitely heard, the man's on, he's on Instagram, he's on TikTok. Definitely go ahead and give him a follow, and go ahead and cop the merchandise that he has. That's one way you can support indie wrestling. Like I always say, if you can't make the shows, you can always purchase the merchandise as well too. Because like I said, 99% of your AEW and WWE superstars, they come from the indies. So what better way than to support somebody at the beginning of their journey, and that way when you see them make the big time, you can wear your that wrestler's shirt and go to the WWE shows and AEW shows, and just like, yeah, I got this shirt from when he or she just started. I'm a real fan. It's always a great feeling. But
Oh yeah.
with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. It's time for bed. That means it's time for bed and dinner. Maybe not in that order, but before I indulge in those activities, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Tommy to my Ghost, and the Charlie Haas to my Shelton Benjamin. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out where your next appearances, purchase Raw base merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rob_base82, Facebook Rob Base. And then March 11th, I'll be in Houston, Delaware, repping for 1CW, CCW. We got an awesome show going on. Doors open at 5. Yeah, doors open at 5. Show starts at 6. Two shows for the price of one. You know what I mean? So, you can't beat it. If you're in Houston, Delaware, or in the surrounding areas, definitely come on out.
And I'll even piggyback off of that. CCW, which is ran by our good friend Marcello, which is actually the sister promotion for 1CW. They still have sponsorships available if you're a content creator or even just a regular fan that wants to sponsor and get your name out there. Definitely hit them up. It's at CCW Action on Twitter and at CCW Action on Instagram. Hit them up, get that sponsorship, and it's a great show. I could tell you all that right now. I went to one this past 2 weeks ago, and I was very entertained. So definitely check them out if you're in Houston,
This past
Delaware,
2 weeks ago,
or any of the surrounding areas. Trust me, you will definitely have a great time. And with that being said, if you want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool stuff, but who knows, maybe you'll hear me say some cool stuff or see some cool stuff like my trip to Seattle. You can actually find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Remy Blue. I'm also on Facebook as Remy Blue as well. Just type it in, you'll see me. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. We're also on Spotify, and we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merchandise. We have T-shirts like this one that I'm wearing. We have tank tops, hoodies, long sleeve shirts. We even have pillows and also coffee mugs for your favorite warm beverage. So definitely check us out. We have a lot of designs. Mardi Gras just passed, but our Mardi Gras merch is not going anywhere. It's still available, so check it out. And we have another design that we're working on real soon. Shout out to Luis Moreno, aka at Moreno Artwork, doing a great job for us and making us look good. So definitely check us out. Purchase some merch. All proceeds from those sales go back into keeping our show afloat. They do not go back into our pockets. And last but not least, we also have a YouTube channel where you can actually see cool interviews like this one, like the one we have with the Flaming Aces, King Naja, and many others, from all over the world. All you gotta do is go on YouTube and type in Ringside Society, and once you see that really good looking dark blue and light blue yin yang sign with the blue flames around it, that's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. We really and truly appreciate you. We strive and will continue to strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could and should listen to. To those of y'all that are going to listen later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at a Golden Corral and Rob Bass at a Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
We ain't stopping. With that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware. It's no secret. We're not blind. Everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But we're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. Hashtag we are not the same. Hey yo, Rob Bass. One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, one time for the great wrestling scene in Chicago, and one time for the Chicago's only Pakistani-born professional wrestler who's gonna go on world tour real soon, coming to a country near you. the Pakistani Rockstar Ahmad Khan.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
For the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, with a Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society, and we'll be back with another impressive episode with another impressive guest. But until then, we just want y'all to do four favors for us. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, though.